Might be good. Think. I'm not 100% sure. Shall see. Dang it, I should have made another coffee. That's right. I'll survive. Let me just check that everything's working, because I've, as you can see, oh, yo, Lego Kid, welcome in. Nice to see you. Clearly it is working then, I think. Yep. Seems to be good. First one here, yes. Oh, close. Close to it. That one guy token. Welcome in. Rebel X, Weeb, VT, how's it going? Some new faces here. Nice to see you all. I've literally just changed my entire office and setup and camera and everything. So please let me know if anything's sort of off. How's it going, Jenny? Nice to see you. I've switched rooms and yeah, whole new setup. So yeah, please let me know if the audio's off or video or anything. And check this out. I got a new. Watch this. Did that work? Look at that. Multiple camera angles. We're professional now. This was so I could show you the new setup, more or less. Yeah. So anyway. I hope everything is good. But yeah, just keep me posted on that. Love the Mothman idea. I live 45 minutes from West Virginia. Oh, yo, that one guy token. Man, so I'm in New Zealand, and I would love to be able to visit Point Pleasant. I've watched so many videos on YouTube of people like walking around the area, the TNT area and that. So yeah, that's cool, man. Very cool. If I need any textures, any ground textures or something, maybe I can send you out there to take some photos of the ground. First time seeing a stream, but I've been following the game's development since the beginning. Oh, I appreciate that, Rebel. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a wild journey, as you know, if you've been here from around the start. Game released in February 2020, right after I quit my industry job working for Rocketworks, who now makes Icarus, but that was before then. The guy who makes DayZ. And so yeah, this was my first foray into indie studio, and it's been a rocky road since then. But I'm excited to get the game finished and start something new. So yeah, I appreciate you sticking around through it all. It's been a lot of learning for me, to be honest, to go from AAA to indie. Made lots of mistakes, but I'm really proud of the game, and I'm really proud that you guys have stuck by me for so long. So, hey Lord Red, welcome in. Hypo Thanos, welcome. Man, we've got so many first-time chatters. What did I do differently? It's a good place to visit, yeah. It seems really cool. So before I show my screen, just because we do have some new people here, there's obviously spoilers in the stream. It's going to show the behind the scenes of the Mothman, so if you want the best full experience of the Mothman hunt, it's better to play it when it's done. But if you want to see the design decisions I'm making and how the Mothman hunt is being created, and early previews, and potentially offer ideas and suggestions that will make it into the actual game, yeah, stick around. So there's your warning. That's the last one. I hate to have to harp on and feel like I'm patronizing people, but I just want to make that clear. So anyway, you've had enough time. Without further ado, I'll show you what I have done since last stream, and then I will talk about what we're going to do today. Yeah, worth it. It's been worth it. It's a great game, even with the occasional bug. Yeah, working on the bugs, but obviously, as a one-man studio, it's tricky, but I do my best. I haven't seen your stream since Mixer, I think it was. Mixer? What would Mixer be? Maybe when I'm talking, I should be like sitting like this, but then I can't read chat anymore. Might need to adjust that. I don't know what Mixer is. Anyway, so I'll try to remember everything I've done since the last time. This is a test map, by the way, and you can see Mr. Mothman up here with a few effects turned on and everything. I've talked a little bit in the streams about the lore and everything, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which, if Jenny's still around, might be lovely enough to post a link. I can't remember if it's like YouTube/Liquid Donkey or Smirkscape or something like that. But yeah, we have these HFE devices, high frequency emitters, that basically interfere with the ability for like bugs to use their wings. So it obviously affects the Mothman too. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like and how it works. Yeah, I appreciate it. All of these effects aren't going to be on at all times. It's just in my test map I'm testing with it all. But I'll show you the HFE and how that kind of works. So as he's kind of flying around and stuff, I'll talk about this radio in a minute too. So these HFE devices are going to be around the map. He won't actually attack me right now, I've just got him in debug mode. And hopefully he's not too loud. But these will be placed around the map, and if you put a battery into them, they'll fire up. And if the Mothman is within range, he'll get whatever that is. Basically stunned, essentially, for a little bit, and won't be able to fly or do anything. And I might have it turned off so that he doesn't actually come back to life again after this. But these are basically essentially the equivalent of bear traps in this hunt. Since he's flying, it's a bit, you can't, I mean, you might be able to bear trap him, but it's going to be a lot harder. Also, yes, we have that problem. We have a crash once I stop playing with one of the particle emitters, but I'll jump back in and show you, and then we might fix that as well. But yes. So, why my thing keeps reconnecting to chat. Hopefully that's not a problem. Hopefully we're still live and everything's good. But yeah, so there's basically, yeah, this pulsing field. You can see it here in debug view. So that's about, it's actually a bit bigger than the range of the actual thing. It comes out to about here, anyway. But yeah, so there's also, I was working on a little bit of his damage effects and stuff. So if we actually shoot him now, he kind of like reacts and like gets blasted away. And he also drops this like black, basically blood. Which I'm still working on getting looking good, but yeah. So we're gonna have some like cool new effects for this, which I think is pretty sweet. And then also the next thing also is the radio. So this is going to be a new item in the game that because he is essentially, the lore in my game is he's a he was created during the war as basically intended to be a biosurveillance weapon created by the military. So he has the ability to communicate through radio waves, basically telepathically. Is that Strigoi? No, that's Mothman. That is Mothman. Hopefully we won't crash again, actually. Maybe I should stop playing in this map. Okay. I think it's to do with his electrocution effect. Yeah, so there's a radio, and essentially, I haven't finished this yet, but essentially he is going to be able to communicate with you via the radio, at certain places in the map. So I'll just turn off the music real quick because hopefully you can hear this, but this is kind of roughly how this is going to work. Um, So you can see, yeah, you'll be able to receive radio communications like that from him, which I've got somewhat of a system for. And you'll need the radio to actually be able to receive those. And I think I'll have it localized to certain areas. So when you're in an area, your radio will start beeping, and if you pull it out, that's when you'll get the message from him. So yes, and also you might have noticed there, again, spoilers, I'm just laying everything out there. Um, if you guys have seen the movie, there's an Easter egg in here, where there was lots of test subjects that were being experimented on and trying to basically turn them into Mothmen with the black moth venom. And the only successful test subject was a guy named Indrid Cold. So that's why he has that name appear down there rather than Mothman. And if you've seen the movie, you'll see the tie-in there. But yeah. So that's that stuff. What else have I done? Oh, his AI. I don't know if I really need to show this too much, but basically he now actually uses like a voxelized navigation mesh essentially. So he's, rather than using splines and stuff everywhere, he can actually just kind of like path anywhere within here, and it uses like a voxelized A star, I believe. So yeah, so that took a while to get working, but now that it's working, it's pretty cool. I don't know why his blood isn't working. It's not really blood yet. He has, I think I got rid of it, but I was working on also, it's not implemented yet. There's a lot of stuff. I'm just showing like basically like a progress report of where I'm at. I was working on, where would I find that? Oh, there's a bunch of VO lines, by the way. I haven't imported them all. I might see if anyone in the community wants to be the voice for Mothman, by the way. Yes, so Rebel, there is going to, I don't know if I want to call it multiple endings, but there is, I'm hoping if I can pull it off in time, because obviously the game is going to come out in end of January, and we're in middle of November right now, so I'm kind of on the crunch with time, but the goal is to have a decision point basically at the end to either destroy the Mothman completely or help him escape the island basically. So you know what, let me show you the island real quick before I show you whatever I was going to show you just then. So those are the mini HFE devices, which are basically like repellents or stuns for the Mothman. And in the actual hunt level, there's these giant HFE devices, and these basically create a field trapping him on this island, which is the military kind of where the military was experimenting. Well, that's the base over here, but the lab is actually back here. So this is where they were actually creating it through the secret Project Blackwing, it's called, down here in this elevator thing down here, which I might move, basically creating them in these pods. So I'm thinking at the end, yeah, the decision point will be either to use these HFE devices to completely destroy the Mothman, or disable them all so he's free to leave and go to the world. You create all your assets. Not all of them, no. It's probably like half and half. Some of them are marketplace, some of the textures I've made, some of them are like shaders and stuff. Some of it's like I've taken existing stuff and modified it. The Mothman was made from scratch. Oh yeah, I was thinking of adding these little lanterns too. I thought this was kind of cool, but kind of a waste of my time. But I thought it was kind of a cool effect. So, um, God, I'm trying to speed run through showing you all the stuff that's new. It's quite a lot. But you start the map, you start the hunt over here somewhere, I think. Yeah, in this little camp over here, and I've got these like little candles hanging, which I thought were quite cool. Um, but yeah, so anyway, yeah, so these HFE devices, if you that's basically what I was trying to say. Yeah, at the end of the hunt, I'm planning to have you be able to decide whether to weaponize these or disable them. And he's obviously going to try and manipulate you to help him. How does the Mothman going to look? I'll show you real quick. This is all obviously, as I said, because if you've been following the development of the game, there's been a little bit of like difficulty financially and stuff with funding me being able to do the game and being able to do it full time and stuff. So I'm on the time crunch of I have to basically release it at the end of January. Um, so yeah, some stuff may have to get cut if I don't have time, but I'm trying my best to get all of this in. And then hopefully, if the game is still popular enough and makes some money, then I can potentially do some more updates on it. But I can't plan on that because my savings basically going to run out. So yeah. But yeah, this is kind of the look of the Mothman thing. Sometimes he might not have these eyes, and sometimes he might not have the moths. And you can see he basically just flies around. I've got all this debug stuff, so it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, you see, so he's actually kind of hard to see, but he's actually like basically a human um, that has gone through the is it chrysalis process, cocoon process. You know when caterpillars turn into butterflies or moths. Um, they basically discovered an ancient civilization basically had a tomb, and these moths basically escaped, and so they were able to basically turn people into moths essentially. So the military was trying to basically create a weapon, a surveillance weapon. So that's why he's kind of like he looks like basically a char grilled person with wings. But I'm pretty happy with the look of it. It took me a long time to figure out how I wanted it to look. I can show you real quick the initial design and why I didn't go with it. Moth man. It's this guy. Um, so one was this was actually a purchased asset from somewhere else, so it wasn't custom made. But also, I kind of liked this, but I didn't like necessarily how much of a creature it was. Like, I didn't feel like it was as scary as it could be. Whereas I feel like having a messed up human like this, I don't know, it was just a gut instinct, I guess, on my end. Can I just turn these moths off for a second so you can see them better? Um, Easily. What if I just go into his blueprint real quick then? Moths. Where's the bugger off button? There we go. And his eye things as well. Eye. There you go. You can see kind of his actual look right now. He's looking down because he's trying to look at the player, but there is no player in this map. Yeah, so I wanted a more monstrous look. If I have time, the only other thing I'm thinking of doing is you see this old character thing, how he has these like, whatever you call these are, legs out of his chest. I'm thinking if I have time, I'm going to actually give this new Mothman those as well, but they're going to be actual arms. Like he's going to have more arms coming out of here just to make it even creepier. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so that's the creature, And I really wanted that silhouette as well. Like if you Google Mothman, you always get something similar to that silhouette, which is weird because those aren't really moth wings. Um, but I did my best to stay true to what people expect, but also like make it my own, like add my own unique spin to it. So um, nice seeing the game updated again. Yeah, I appreciate that. Holy, I don't know if I can pronounce that name. Redneck Panda. There we go. Um, yeah, I appreciate that. It's been after this game is out, I'm thinking of doing like a post mortem and explaining like in detail the development journey and what happened and what challenges I faced and what mistakes I made and go through all that because yeah, I'm glad to be back working on it full time, but I made a lot of mistakes since it's my first game as an indie developer that I want to hopefully salvage, like get people to hopefully enjoy this game again, buy it again, and make enough money that I can make another game. Is the goal. So his voice should have more radio static, like a certain sexy red creepy demon from a cartoon musical. Don't know what that's referring to. Cartoon musical? Yeah, the voice definitely isn't final. I'm hoping I can get someone from the community to help me voice the Mothman because I'd rather it be American accent. Um, but yeah, I can definitely update the pins that don't work. I can turn the music back on there too. Definitely update the effects, yeah, because he's supposed to be basically talking through radio waves. Fluff, yeah, fluff. I do want to add. It's kind of hard. I'm not very good at like character animation, character design, character modeling. Um, but I agree that would be cool if I can do that. I have tried a little bit, but he kind of looked like a shaggy dog, so I'll see if I have time to give it another crack. But my main goal right now is to get the hunt finished, and then we can polish from there. I can't remember if there's anything else I need to show you. Oh, I was going to show you if I can find it. One of the attacks he's going to have. The HFV, distortion rate. Where did I put it? Everything is in such a mess. MM? No, that's the screen effects stuff. Beam, I think it was. Yeah. So, this is probably too bright. Sorry, hang on 1 second. He is ideally, one of his attacks is going to be, it's going to be obviously placed properly. Something like this where he'll basically fly above you and aim at you, and essentially it's meant to be like a hypnotic kind of thing. Because his attacks actually I've had a hard time designing because he's not like the Wendigo where he can just run up and hit you kind of thing. We could, but I don't think that is really true to what the Mothman would do. And in a lot of the lore I've read, he doesn't really ever attack, he just kind of follows people. So I'm thinking 3 attacks, or 3 main attacks. Is this one, which is like some sort of hypnotic beam where I think he's going to actually like control your character, force you to look at him and make you walk towards him. Yeah, it's meant to be like a drain kind of thing. He'll probably just insta-kill you if he gets you all the way to him. So the idea would be one of your friends in multiplayer would have to break his stun, or in single player I might need to add some way to escape the beam as well. Maybe you have to fight your way out of it, like he's pushing you towards him and you have to, like, I don't know, try and walk and try and look away. So this is one of them. The other one I think is going to be a swooping attack. He'll just kind of fly by and slash at you, essentially. And the other one, these are the direct attacks, by the way. The other one I was thinking is he'll fly by like I was talking about, but he'll actually pick you up and lift you up and then drop you from a height, so you take full damage. But he's going to be a lot less like, I don't want to say aggressive, but a lot less like directly just trying to kill you at all times. He's actually trying to manipulate you to help him escape the level. So usually he'll probably attack when you attack first or when you're not doing what he asks you to do. And then indirect attacks, I was thinking he can probably like overload various electrical devices nearby you and do indirect damage that way. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm open to ideas, but anyway. And yeah, these effects are pretty good. I mean, I did my best. They're not like perfect, obviously, but I'm doing my best with what you know, what my capabilities are. I can't really hire people right now, so I think it's good though. I'm pretty happy with it. So I made all this stuff, all these effects and the HFE and the stuff here, and I'm pretty happy with how this all turned out. For Lord Red, are you talking about the player character or the Mothman? The player character, well, it's first person, so the first person character is actually just like a can't really see it here, but it's like there's two characters. There's one that multiplayer people see, and there's one that you see in first person. The first person one basically has his head snapped backwards and he rotates with the camera. The third person one, I'm doing layered blend per bone in a few places for blending montages on top of each other. I can actually probably show you real quick before I will need to get started on what I need to do today in a minute though, but I can quickly show you. It's hard to remember how some of this works because again, this project is 5 years old basically at this point, so yeah, he gets various animation blueprints swapped in based on the equipment he's holding. But you can see we do have a few layered blend per bones for this one's probably upper body, lower body, I'd say. Yeah. And do we have any others? I thought we had another one. Yeah, we might just have upper body, lower body, I think. Yeah, looks like we do. We can overlay an entire pose over top of that. Is that right? It's been a minute since I've looked at this blueprint. Yeah, pretty sure that's how it works. But some of the equipment changes it as well, how that works. Yeah, anyway, I can't wait for Mothman. Oh wait, sorry, I missed a thing. One could be hallucination dust from shooting him, and getting too close could provoke the moths to swarm you. Yeah, the moths I think should have an attack, yeah, definitely. I've got, this is basically my Jenny ideas notebook, but anyone's ideas are welcome. I always write them down just in case I can fit them in somewhere. Hallucination dust, I don't really know what you mean there, like, I guess you can't stand too close to him when you shoot him or something? Yeah, moth swarms and stuff I think would be cool. Because those moths that are following them are actually the black moth species that was lost and rediscovered. Can't wait for Mothman to come out. I got excited, I saw the game got updated, can't wait to see more. Appreciate that, Mystical Ram. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Doing my absolute, I'm going as hard as I can to make this hunt as good as possible, but I only have so much time to do it. I think it's going to be way better than any other hunt in the game though, to be honest. So the previous two monsters have had totems to see where you're at. Will the Mothman have the same thing, or will it use security cameras or something like that? Yeah, you're bang on actually. Security cameras is is what I'm going for at the moment. I don't know if they're working right now, because this hunt is obviously a little bit more like technology related. It's probably a bit hard to see if I just play from here. Yeah, I think the ankles are busted. They are. But there's these cameras that are supposed to look at you, but they're actually like facing the wrong way. That he looks at you through. So these are in various places in the map. So it is kind of basically the same concept as the totems, but it's Mothman's version of it. Yeah, so that's where we're at. If you haven't seen it, this is one of the areas we made not too long ago, because I forgot what that sound was. There's an audio trigger there, I think. Yeah, the ancient basically this island had an ancient civilization, like we're talking like thousands of years ago. It had ruins and whatnot, and one of the tombs was opened, and the tomb had the species of black moth that the military used to create the Mothman. Those moths were extinct, but they were then re-released from that tomb. So that's why there's kind of this like ancient kind of civilization looking stuff around. There's another area with some of that. Oh, it's really freaking hard to see in the dark in this map. Where are we at? Research lab. Where did I put it? Over here, I think? Yeah. Down this path. I've really tried as well my absolute best to make like the best possible map level design I could as well. It's definitely not perfect, but I really tried super hard to make an interesting, fully like hand designed environment. But yeah, so these are from that civilization, all these ruins and stuff. And I mean, the loose lore basically is that there's the descendants of that ancient civilization have now come back to this island to try and worship the Mothman, essentially. So yeah, anyway, that's all like kind of like side lore stuff. It's not really, it's like important that I know what that lore is so I can make the map and design everything properly, but it won't really affect the player if they don't like discover the notes and stuff to understand that exactly. But it's just so that I can have a logical like timeline of events of exactly what actually happened, so I know when I'm building this map like the context. I'll catch up on chat and then I'm going to get started on some work. Previous two monsters have had oh, I read that. As in, there's some burst of moth dust to inflict jump scares and hallucinations from injuring them. Yeah, I like that. I am actually thinking of adding a couple of jump scares to this map. I've tried to avoid it in every other hunt so far. But I think because the Mothman is such like an ambient, like he's actually trying to scare you into working for him, I think it actually makes, it's not me just adding jump scares for the sake of it, it actually makes sense for the Mothman to want to do that, to want to scare the absolute hell out of you, so that you don't, so that you just help him and do what he says, basically. Soft spot though for the Wendigo and the mechanics in that game. Yeah, I still really like all the hunts for sure, but they're all, I've tried to make this one different than the other ones. It doesn't mean it's necessarily, well, I think it's better quality, this one, the map and monster and everything, but I'm still proud of what I did for the Wendigo one as well, the lore and everything and the way that came together. Doing a really good job making the hunts be really on character with the creatures. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's quite difficult, to be honest, but I do my best to just like to research what is actually known about the cryptid in real life, and then create my own story and my own lore that like uses as much of that as possible. Like if you're familiar with the Mothman, you know, he destroyed, well, supposedly the Silver Bridge collapse was related to him, so we've got, you know, nods to that here. There's various bunkers and stuff around because it happened in the TNT area, and yeah, I do my best, but it's definitely made with love. It's not the quality of Call of Duty, but like I do the absolute best I can to make the best quality thing I can. And obviously, I started this game 5 years ago, so I've developed a lot more as a developer. I developed my skill set, so that's why this hunt I feel is better, because I've learned a lot and able to use that to create this, which is why I'm excited, hopefully, if the game makes enough money to make another game, because I feel like I can do something really cool with a clean slate. So they came back and are like a cult, because honestly was wanting that. Yeah, essentially mystical realm, yeah. So ancient civilization, think like Egyptian times. They're actually Egyptian inspired. They're not Egyptians, they're called, what was it? Azidians or something? Azidians? I can't remember. We came up with a name the other day. It's written down somewhere. So that was like thousands of years ago. Then during the war, the military had a base here, and during expansion on this island, they uncovered the ruins of this ancient civilization, the Azidians, and basically cracked into the vault, the tomb, which released a whole bunch of black moths. And then through various like deaths and interactions with these moths, they realized they were actually essentially infecting people and transforming them with their venom. So then they created Project Blackwing as a secret project at this military base to basically try and weaponize that black moth venom to intentionally create what is essentially the Mothman, but it was designed to be a surveillance weapon for the war. There was only one successful subject transformation, the rest all failed, and then Mothman basically took over this island, killed everyone, and he's been trapped on the island ever since because of these HFE devices. But after that happened and the island was abandoned, then the descendants of that, the Azidians, the modern day versions of those Azidians, then came to this island to basically try and explore and find the Mothman and work with him. So it is essentially like a cult, but it's like, it's really complicated to explain, I guess. Well, maybe it's not, but I feel like I'm overcomplicating it. But it's the same faction, just the modern day version of those thousands of years later. Came back to worship the Mothman because he's created by, the creations of their ancestors. I'm not sure if you'll actually find too much of their actual stuff. I have some assets ready for it. I just don't think I'll have time to potentially do it, but could be like DLC or something. If the game does well enough, will you make more of it, or is the Mothman the end of it? I'll have to make that decision when it comes to it. I feel like I can create a much better experience if I have a clean slate to make a new game and make new decisions and really evolve. But there's definitely the opportunity to create more content for this game. It's just I'm kind of bound by decisions I made 5 years ago, so it's a little harder. But so I think if I had a choice, I'd probably want to do a spin-off game, like not Folklore Hunter 2, but maybe Folklore Hunter stories, smaller stories set in the Folklore Hunter universe. I also had the idea of maybe more of an open world, multiplayer, semi-PvP kind of essentially a survival game set in the Folklore universe with monsters around. We make bases and factions and stuff. And then obviously Folklore Hunter 2 one day, hopefully. But it all hinges on how successful the game is when I release it, because I'm a little bit worried it's been so long that people might not be as successful as it once would have been. So it just depends how that goes, basically. But I would absolutely love to make more stuff, maybe for this game, for other games in the universe, and just keep doing this. But it it really just depends on, like, you know, I mean, the reality of it, you know, like I have a son, I have to, you know, do I have to get a full-time job or not, essentially, is what is going to decide how much of this can happen or not. So we'll see. I don't have any clear answers for you, but that is, in full transparency, behind the scenes business side, where I'm at with that. I'm really trying to get it on console. Well, I'm going to get it on consoles next year too, to hopefully help. But yeah, the whole point of, and it sounds really sad to say, but like making as much money as I can from this is so that I can make more games. That's all it is. That's all I want to do, is just keep making more games. I don't want a mansion, I don't want anything fancy. I just want to be able to keep making enough to keep making more games, because it's really expensive to make games. I study demonology and cryptid horror. I go around haunted places, creature sightings. Oh, that's really cool. Really cool, Mystical Graham. Yeah. See, that's another thing I'd love to do, is explore like more from the perspective of less as a hunter and more of a urban explorer, you know, and that's where I was thinking the folklore hunter stories could be interesting. Which, by the way, you know, I didn't really explain what that was, but in my mind that's kind of like more kind of like episodic, smaller kind of experiences that are more focused on, you know, just one particular aspect of it, rather than being a hunter of multiple creatures. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to make a quick coffee and then I'm going to get started on getting some work done, because I've been live for almost an hour and haven't actually done anything yet. So, but I think you guys are all up to date now on the majority of the stuff I've done since last stream. And yeah, then we're going to get started. So I'll be right back. Like Fears or Fathom style? I'm not sure on that game. I haven't seen it, but yeah, you're bang on. Like essentially, it's a different perspective, but in the same universe. So it's still got folklore, cryptids, and everything, still in the same universe. But you're not a hunter. It's more of like a, you know, maybe you're an urban explorer and come across, you know, like a whatever, you know, I don't know what creature I'd want to do. Like maybe a banshee would be cool or something, but because so let me just quickly explain before I make this why I'm thinking that direction, because I like the hunting aspect too, like folklore hunter, but I also would love to explore it from a different perspective, because when you're a hunter in a horror game, I feel like, this is just my opinion, it's much more difficult for me to make you feel anxious and powerless, because the intent of the game is for you to kill these creatures. So you have all sorts of weapons, and you know, like it's a different perspective. Like if you RP for a second and put yourself in the mind of one of these monster hunters, they're probably not very scared of this stuff because they do it for a job, you know. But if I could maybe make a spin-off game where you're not someone who hunts these creatures, then you know, I have more control over making you feel powerless, because you're not just walking in there with you know, gas cans and explosives and weapons and stuff to basically kill these things. So that's kind of my thought process behind it, but I want to honor both things. The other small thing about being a hunting game that makes it tricky is logically, if you think about it, if you just find a creature and just shoot them, you know, the expectation is they die, you know, but that's not a very fun game, you know, that's not a very fun experience. So I've had to do a lot of jumping through hoops to make it so that you feel like you can attack them, but it's not super effective initially, if you kind of get what I'm saying. It's like I have to kind of like give you these tools to do damage, but then nerf them in certain. It's tricky. It's a real tight balancing act. So Yeah. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough on that, and I think you get what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna go make a coffee, and we'll get back, and we will get some work done because I got to get this hunt done very quick so I can have a Christmas holiday. Otherwise, I'm gonna be here working the whole time. All right, I'll be right back. Oh, good. I have coffee. Yeah, that's right, Jenny. Okay, so I think possibly what I'll quickly do first is finish the radio, since that's what I was working on. I think the radio I want to put, so you start over here. Then I'm trying to sort of lead you around this way. I think over here is somewhere, I'll put the radio somewhere around here. I think, do I have, yeah, I got like some. My old remains, I'll put it by. Somewhere ideally you'll actually find it, so yeah. Do I think the old one? Yeah. And there wouldn't likely be much blood left because it was so long ago. So what am I going to put around here? Radio. I'm going to need to make a pickup, I guess. So we'll go item pickup. The other thing that makes this a little bit tricky, why is my F2 key not working? And radio. Is in multiplayer, like how many radios do I give out? Because like it'd be weird if this guy had heaps of them around, but I kind of have to. The static mesh. We do the radio. Okay. Now, if I just put it on the ground like that, I'm going to need to do quite a bit of work to make it so that you actually see it. So I need to have this on probably a static or a switch. Default value true, and then nothing here. Okay. Because I need to now create a material instance, mi hand radio, no clip. The clip thing is basically it makes it so that the clip shader makes it so that the guns and stuff can't like clip into walls and that. It like messes with the vertex positions to make it still look 3D, but it's actually like flat. So in this one, we'll turn that off. And then in the pickup, we want to use the MI and radio. Looks proper. Okay. We are going to need. We're definitely going to need some sort of light here to draw your attention to it. It's tricky because it's kind of going to be a fake-ish light. Unless I can somehow use some sort of real light, but I'll figure that out in a second. So we'll do that. We'll do shadows, and we'll have a tight attenuation radius. People can use the hunter sensors as well to find this, but I'm just trying to like really point it out to people. So the other thing is we could maybe do some decals. maybe just like... something like that. Very good. And now I need a color or something to make that pop so that you notice it. Let's see what assets I can find that might help with that. I mean, I could just put it on a chair. Like if he's a radio guy, he would have been sitting somewhere, right? So rather than putting it right beside him, if I put one on the chair. And I'll do another light. Since it flickers like yellow, I'll do yellow, no shadows, and then make that real small. There we go. I think that will draw your eye enough to that. Cool, save that, and let's quickly make sure I can actually pick that up. Yep, can. Make that a little bit brighter. And I actually, what I could do is put a function on here. Make it look like the radio is kind of flickering. Yeah, sweet. Very good. Now for the pickup itself, I just need to make it so that you need to tell it what you actually get. So hand radio, you get one of those. Problem is multiplayer, eh? Like what do you guys think? Should one person have the radio, or should I make it so that everyone can have one? I don't know. I kind of want everyone to have one, but just one. So if you're a multiplayer, one person's the radio person. I guess that encourages more teamwork, eh? Yeah. Could make it purchasable. Yes, I can make it purchasable, but in this hunt, you're not going to be able to actually buy stuff within the hunt. You kind of buy stuff outside of the hunt, so I can do that, but it won't help this situation. Just one as well? Okay. Seems like consensus is one. Yeah, and make it so they can hear it. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if I've done that. I think it's 2D right now. But yeah, it's a good point. Okay, sweet. So I've got the radio here. I mean, it will probably make sense to have more bodies here, but I can tidy that up later. And let me see, when you pick that up, I need to get rid of this light, so I'll just do that in the level blueprint probably. What happens? I can't remember what happens when you actually pick stuff up. Server. Oh, actor destroyed. Okay, Well, in that case, I don't need to actually program anything. All I would have to do is get this light attached to pick up hand radio. And that should, I think, make it to where if I pick that up, the light will go away. Okay. Why not? Okay, well, never mind then, we are going to program it manually. When it's destroyed, we will grab that light, destroy that as well. And do we ever begin playing? No. The radios for, yeah, the Mothman will basically talk to you through it. You know what, now also let me get rid of, oops, make post. Get rid of the depth of field for a second, because that's just making it hard to see what's happening. Maybe that camera's not going to die. Yeah, okay. Now I can actually see stuff properly. Cool. Alright, so now we've got to program the radio a little bit. See just one and let others be able to hear it if they're nearby. Yeah. Makes sense. I probably need to attach a note to this guy as well. We'll get there at some point. Hopefully. I need to do a whole batch of notes and stuff, but I need to write them, which takes a while. Okay, so hand radio. What I need now is a system for this radio, so let's quickly do a bit of programming. I'm thinking I will, let's see. Where should I put this? Mothman assets. Let's do it in here. Radio system. Oh, the other thing is, I want to quickly check. Does any mods been posted yet? I don't know if that's like working for people or what. Could be. I can remember how to get to. There we go, community hub. No, still not. That's right. I need to make some tutorials on how to do that anyway. Okay, it'll probably be more important once the game's out anyway, but I've shipped the dev kit currently. So. Yes, so for a system, I'll make it a actor component, BP radio receiver, radio signal receiver, and what I'll do is I'll basically, in this hunt, I'll attach these to probably the player characters. And let's see, I'll also make another actor, BP radio signal brilliant. And what will happen is when you enter this volume, which I guess I'll do as a sphere. Should I do it as a sphere? Yeah, I do it as a sphere. Default size can be like 1,000. That's pretty big, but that's probably fine. Hidden in game, yep, that's fine. And let me just make this a different color so I can tell what it is. Line thickness 1. So say there was a radio signal receiver somewhere in here. Quickly do this as well. Billboard, radio. Pretty sure I have a radio icon, don't I? There we go. I can tell that that's a radio signal right there. I'll put one. I'll put one right here. So basically, like, what's going to happen is when you go into these zones, you're going to receive a new incoming transmission that you can answer on the radio. So once you have the radio, I'll put these around the map, and that way, as you explore, you can uncover different signals. So now what needs to happen is when a player overlaps with this, do I want to do this local? You don't like the green light? I kind of want to keep it, but I can tone it down. Yeah. It's pretty subtle. I feel like I just need something to help draw your eye to this area a little bit, and I think that just helps ever so slightly. This works, but this helps even more. I need to... I guess that just says E. I don't know why it just says E, but maybe I'll quickly fix that as well. I'm getting distracted. Interaction component. How do I do this again? Interface. Interaction text. Pick up radio. Now we should... What's the time? Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Jenny? Do you reckon still get rid of it? If you think so, I can get rid of it. I just think it helps a little bit to make this area look somewhat important. You think get rid of it still? Okay. Alright. Like that. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Actually, yeah, I like that more. You're right. Good call. Because I'm not trying to draw your eye to this, unless I put a note on it, in which case, which I probably will. But yeah. Anyway, we see pick up radio. I see something else pop up before that. I don't know what that is, but it's a problem for another day. Okay. The moonlight and the fact that it's on the radio is perfect enough. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, and actually, I could put a little like sound on it as well, like a little radio sound. Players in multiplayer be killed or downed. If so, having one radio means that if they're separated and whoever has the radio is down, someone will have to go retrieve it. Yeah, they can be downed. They can also be revived. But I mean, that is a good point. If the person with the radio goes down, it's not ideal. But yeah, that's a good point. That's something I should keep in mind. I'm just currently trying to decide whether to do this local or on the server, this overlap. I guess I'll just do it local. So if the other actor is get player pawn, then for now I'll just do a print to make sure this is working. Signal received. Actually, no, this probably does need to be... Okay, here's the thing. Say we're in multiplayer. One player has the radio, one player doesn't. and the player without the radio goes to an area where they would pick up a radio signal. I was going to make it that if any player goes into that area, the Mothman will talk to the player with the radio. But does it make more sense to limit that to just the player with the radio? I think it does make more sense. I just don't know if that's more fun gameplay wise. I feel like that. I think I'm going to do that for now, and if it feels weird, I'll change it. I think just it'll be more lenient on players that way. So if I put the print in, yeah, signal received. Yeah, I get it lots of times for some reason, but yeah, player pawn signal received. Okay, so now all I need to do is get component by class signal radio signal receiver, and there's going to need to be a function on here called an event, I guess. Receive new signal, new radio signal. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, and I'm going to need to pass that through. Receive new signal. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to do real quick is make a... Well, I'll just do it as an object. I would rather do it as a data asset, but I can't be bothered with the C++ to make that happen. I'll just do it as an object. PP radio signal info. And in here is where we can have the dialogue. I don't think I need anything else right now. That's probably good enough. So when we receive a signal, it'll be soft class, what do I call it? Radio signal info, soft class reference, signal info. Okay, now we need to pass that through, so I'll expose that as a property on here. And the signal info can be also made to be abstract. Abstract class. Okay, so now what I can do is make signals. I prefer, like, again, I'm kind of just speed running through and not explaining too much of what I'm doing on the Unreal side of things. I want to do some tutorials at some point, but in my years of using Unreal, I have come to hate data tables and prefer objects and data assets. And the reason is twofold. And this might not matter if you don't know what Unreal is or how to use it, but data tables allow you to store, it's basically a spreadsheet, allows you to store a whole bunch of data in one thing. The reason I don't like those is because when you load that table to access a row off the table, it will load the entire table, obviously, because it needs to get the row. And if you don't set up your soft objects properly, you can end up loading tons of stuff from the game that you didn't mean to. Like, I could load every signal in the game when I only need to load one. So that's one reason you have to be more careful about soft references. The other reason is, well, there's actually three, I guess. The second reason for me is source control. I use perforce. So creating like data stuff in the game as objects means that they're actual assets, so they can be individually be checked out and checked in. So like, rather than having a big table with all the radio signals, if I needed to change a radio signal, I'd have to check out the data table, which means only I'm able to use it at the moment. No one else can access it and change it. If I do it as objects, people can add new signals and and edit ones that I'm not editing. I'm just editing the one I need. And the third reason is if you use objects, you have inheritance and functions. So you can actually like have child-parent relationships to your data. So anyway, that's why. I don't know if that's super standard practice for Unreal, but I've just been, yeah, that's just the way I prefer to do things now. So BP, radio signal, and this can be what should we call it? Like radio bound, or like, yeah, radio bound, or like initial message or something. Okay, and then if I close that and reopen it, it'll show me just in this like kind of data editor view. So in here, I can put in one of my, we'll just use that same one for now as the test. But this would be like, text in here as well. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah. Table. Edit. Nope. File. Mothman's light test map. And then see, because this isn't data right now, this is just straight up in code. Like, it's not, like, if I put it in an asset like this, it means I don't have to load this map to access this data, which is way better. Actually, that's another thing about using objects over data tables, is I can actually set default values. So I can actually just like go into here and say the default icon is always going to be radio, and anytime I create a new radio signal, it's going to have that unless I change it. So yeah, another small tip for you. Again, there's no right or wrong way, this is just the way I prefer to do things. So we have this, which is good. Now we need to have it so that, let's see, in the story map, save that, that's fine. This radio signal, wherever it is, here, we just link it to that initial message thing, and now it knows what like signal you're going to pick up. And then when you overlap, that gets passed through receive new signal, and this is going to mean that multiple people can trigger it. Let's just do a do once thing. So this will only be triggered the first time. I really should be putting this in a set, and this should be a static thing, but I don't have that right now, so that's fine. Okay, and then signal, or like pending signals, maybe? And this will be radio signal. I'm not sure how much you guys like are interested in watching the actual programming of this, but I mean, it's a huge part of making a game, so it's just, yeah, sometimes I don't know whether to stream it or not. But when you receive a new signal, we will do an add unique on here. Okay, and this can be set to probably private. And we can have a function. Definitely interested in the coding process. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I just do it quite quickly because I've just been doing this for so long, but hopefully you can pick up a few bits and pieces from watching. I can increase the size here, might help as well. Right, so now we'll have a function for has pending signal. Make that pure, and we'll just do a return here. And this will be is empty, not empty. Okay, so now we can do pending signal like that, and that will tell us if there's a message to be received. And then we'll have one called pop. I really want the radio to be in charge of that. I'll say activate pending signal. Okay, and now if we do have a pending signal, if we don't, we can just return straight away. If we have a pending one, then we can they're going to get added to the back, so we want to actually get the first one. Yep, that's good. Then I'll make that a local variable, signal to activate. So this is the one that they received. If they've got 3 pending signals to receive on the radio, this will be the first one they received in that group, the oldest one. Now I'm just trying to think through. The next thing I need to do would probably be to trigger. I guess I'll do it in here. Is basically when you're listening to a message, I need to know so that I don't play another one, otherwise they'll overlap. Like is currently, or is signal, now let's see, signal activation in progress. Okay, that won't be an array, that'll just be a so boom. Actually, let's not do it like that. Let's make this a public variable, active signal, and now I can just check that. So I can have another function called is signal activation in progress, and this can just be a valid of this. Return and make that pure, and boom. So now I can tell if there's one playing, and when this happens, it'll set one. Activate pending signal. So if we have a pending signal and we do not have one currently in progress, then we can go ahead and do this. And now we set the active signal. So now we have, let's see, where's the radio at? Because this is where it's gonna, there's lots of kind of pieces to this all kind of working together to make this happen. So there's the item, there's the equipment. Here's where you actually click with it. So I will, do something here. Owning player get component by class, and that will be the signal receiver. And then I'll say activate pending signal. And I usually, when I'm making functions like this, I usually put the word try at the start if it can intentionally fail. So for example, if you're spamming the click button on the radio, this word try just lets me know that I can spam this and it's no problem. It handles I don't have to handle tracking whether you've already clicked in here. It's already happening in here. If that kind of makes sense. Okay. Yeah, okay, so then we try activate the pending signal. That's good. If there is one. The other thing is going to be, I will probably do this on tick for now, but I won't keep it like this. Where we have, I really shouldn't be doing that on tick, to be honest. I'll make it a variable signal receiver. Do it like this. Signal receiver for that. So now it's cached. I'm not every tick. I'm not getting the component, because I'm pretty sure the way this works, I have to check whether they've changed it, but the way it used to work anyway is it would iterate over all the components on the actor. And you know, if you're doing that every tick, that's just wasteful. You know, there's no reason to do that. So here we can say, so what is it? It's no signal. Both of these lights need to have their set color. So that should be... Alright, so here's what we can do. We can say both of these lights, select if it has a pending signal, then it'll be A. Otherwise, we will be on B. And B is like kind of a yellow-orange color. Basically, the light changes if there's a signal incoming, playing, or not. So that works. And then the widget, we also need to tell that about it. So get widget pass to a radio display. Shouldn't really be casting on tick, but we can always fix that later. And do we have a system in here for tripping that right now? Not really, it's just this widget switcher. So I'll make a function called set set state, and I'll have that come through with a gameplay tag. New state, okay, and we can switch on that, and we'll say, okay, we'll have a new thing called radio.signal.none. Okay, and then we'll have radio.signal.incoming. So none. Incoming. Okay, and that will allow me to customize this. So set index. What we're really doing is changing the index right now, but it allows me to be able to do other stuff. So no signal is going to be 0, and this will be 1. Let's see. State. We have a pending signal, then we will say radio.incoming. If we don't, we'll say radio.none. Don't love that that's happening on tick, but that's what it is right now. Okay, so now if I save all that, come back into here, and go to a radio, you can see now it's no signal and it's a yellow light. It was blue before. And potentially if I trigger the overlap, tell where the overlap is. Ah, that component doesn't exist, that's why. So, save all. Okay, now I just quickly need to figure out, I forget how this works now, we've changed this a few times. Hunts. We look at Bloodfang, yeah, it has a custom game mode and a custom game state. Game state story. Okay. I still don't have a name for the either, by the way. Actually, let's do it as a game mode, because that's only on the server. It's not actually... Okay, well, that's alright. We'll do game mode. Sorry, I'm just thinking... BP game mode Mothman. I don't have a name for the Mothman hunt yet. And then we can do the game state through there, but really I'd probably rather do player state. Player state. BP player state Mothman. Okay. This is Mothman, player state, Mothman, there we go. We should be all hooked up there. And now in the world settings, I can actually use the Mothman game mode, which will allow me basically to inject custom logic into just this hunt in particular. What have I missed? Quite a lot, John. You might have to watch the replay. I spent the first 40 minutes of the stream talking about what's changed. I don't really have time to do that again, but there's been lots of AI stuff, new effects, the HFEs. Yeah, we'll see. I might have time to talk about it again, but probably not. Okay, radio signal. What did I need that for? I needed the Mothman game state. No, player state. So that I can get player pawn. And then add components plus, and I'm going to add on a radio receiver. That should make it so that players now have that component attached. So if I go all the way back here, that range is basically at the top of the stairs. So if I play from here and get the radio out and now walk into this, there we go. Now it's working. So because I entered that radio signal range, I have a new incoming transmission. If I click, nothing happens though, so that's the next thing. Got some of this stuff. Okay, so when I click, try activate, which probably is working. Born. Wait a second. Recent levels, light test map. I just need to see how I was doing it before. I already forgot. I only wrote it like a couple days ago. Okay, it's on the player controller. Okay, player controller. Basically just this. receive radio signal. Right, activate is what I wanted. Honestly, let's just do it like this. I don't really need to get to the player controller to do it. I don't think. I don't know, we'll see. I might for multiplayer reasons. So we need an event here now. Customer activate signal. Activate signal. This. And the reason I'm doing it in the event graph now is because now I can load async, which is better. Class signal, info class, and then off the class defaults here, I have that dialog stuff. I can pass that through to the UI. And what is the... This will spawn sounds attached so that you can hear it in multiplayer. Audio finished, remove from parent. We're going to have another dispatcher on here on dialog finished. That and attach to component. Okay. Attach. Well, you know what? Just delete that. Make this a variable. Attached to component, and then make it expose on spawn. There we go. Now we can go back to lots of moving parts with this system, to be honest. Here, refresh that. Now we have this component we can attach to. Now what are we in right now? Radio signal receiver. So we can get owner, I suppose. Get root component of the owner. It's fine. And we also need to assign to dialog finished before we play it. And when it is finished, all we're going to do is set this to nothing, and that will make it so that we can play another one. If for whatever reason we can't load this, we're also going to clear it. You indented should be on Friday if you're down to play. Oh, okay. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm in a different time zone, so we'll see, but possibly. Okay. Let's see if I can play that signal now. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer side of this is not going to work just yet. See, I have no signal on the radio. There we go, incoming transmission, and if I click, if I spam click. Still says incoming transmission. That's a problem. So try activate, we get it, we set it, and then before we clear it, we're going to say remove item. Remove item. Probably need another state for when it's actually playing the audio, not just incoming transmission. And now we're back to no signal. And if I trigger that volume again, yeah, we don't get the message again because we've already had it. And if I happen to have multiple radios, they all kind of share the same behavior. Very good. So now I just need to quickly possibly look at the multiplayer side of this to make sure that's going to work, because the problem, I think, is that yeah. The problem is that this component is on the wrong thing. I don't want that to be on the player state. I actually want it to be on the game state. Because it needs to be shared for everyone in the map, not each person having their own individual like messages. Game state. BP game state. And now we can just actually add the component here, so radio signal receiver, like that. We don't add it like this now. So now there's one shared for everybody, that's fine. And let's see, we are going to need to replicate some of this now, so make it replicated. So let's see, has pending signal, that's fine. Try activate. Should only be called on the server. Probably. Big signal activation in progress that we can make replicated. And pending signals, I believe, can just stay on the server because we just call this, where is it? We just call this function and it figures out what the thing is. So that can stay just on the server. And now this comes through, we load it. Or activate signal. So there's going to be a multicast event, so that will be triggered for everybody. And we'll say active. Let's just do this quicker. And we're actually going to do it like this. So everybody will trigger that, and in here, that will actually just be fine as it is, I think. The only thing is we're going to need this. Signal actor to get passed through. That's the wrong, there we go, signal actor. But the owner is going to be the game state. So actually we want to be, shit. Okay, we need to actually know who this is. That needs to get passed through, and then when we activate the signal, that also needs to know. the wrong thing. This needs to know, and just basically continue to pass it through. I mean, I could just be doing the multicast from somewhere else, but whatever. Okay, and that comes from here. Signal actor, yeah. So now when you push it, we need to say it's like owning player. Now server egress. Okay, well that's fine. I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick and then we'll give this a test. The only one line he's got so far. No, it's actually not. I'll show you all the lines when I get back. I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick. Right. Yeah, I'll show you the lines if you like. I'm not sure how many of them I'll keep, to be honest. Turn off like. But like in my OBS, it keeps saying like "Welcome to the chat room" over and over again, which is making it hard to read chat. Anyway, that's fine. So yeah, the messages that we've got so far, I'll quickly find them. I haven't put the effects on most of them yet. But this is what we have, and I'm probably going to add more and change them, but this is to give you an idea.
They told you I'm a weapon. Correction, I'm a purpose. Help me align the signal, and you're breathing hard in the dark corridor. Second door on your right. Open it for me.
That's like an example of him basically trying to manipulate you to do stuff.
Don't run. I've already been where you're going. Who taught you to fear the thing that listens back? How many times will you blink before you admit you like being seen?
Most of these are just kind of creepy, you know, just basically him trying to mess with you.
Which part of you is the easiest to reroute, pulse or will? You mistake attention for mercy. Shall I prove the difference? I'm not hunting you. I'm curating you. Will you cooperate? Tell me which secret you'd rather I keep, yours or theirs.
Yeah. So those are the lines we have so far. I'll probably change some of them. Some of them are a bit cheesy. And I'm hoping I can get someone from the community to do the VO for me, voice act it. But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe anyway. You kind of see like some of them will be him talking about the environment, some of them will be him trying to like essentially convince you to help him. Yeah, and we might come up with other ones as we go, we'll see. Okay, so now the problem here is, let's see, we need to have the player controller route this through, which is annoying. client. Leave? Maybe we don't. Let me just save all this, and I'm going to play with two clients, and it's going to be a little bit confusing, but test that. Alright, so this guy's the client. They actually all have radios right now, which is fine, I guess. If I, as a client, go into the volume, nothing happens. Okay, and if I, as a server, go into the volume. Multiplayer is such a pain in the ass, guys, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Okay, we're not getting any signals at all anymore. I think I know why, actually. Because I moved that thing to the game state and didn't set it in the game mode. Yes. Game state Mothman. Here we go. What I'm expecting here is it might not work as a client. Like, you might not be able to click the radio as a client to trigger the signal, but you'll probably still receive it. We'll just make it so the server. Actually, that's a good point. I don't think that light is. Oh, it is replicated. Okay, so I'll have the server give the radio to the other guy. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, what the fuck? No incoming transmission. Okay. So now if I give the radio back... Still no signal. What the hell? There's something I didn't switch over. Hang on. Let's go through the flow here. So we go... Ah, that's the problem right there. Okay. Get game state. We need to get the component from the game state, not from the player itself. Drop that for our client to pick up the radio. Now if we get in range... What the fuck is going on? Okay, on the client, what happened? True? Yeah, yeah. Receive signal, okay. Oh, this, I said that was only going to be on the server, didn't I? Shit. Okay, that's why. Okay, character. We'll only really have the server be checking this overlap, I guess. We'll get it. Don't worry, we'll get it. I don't know why it's not saving my freaking radio now. That's kind of a little bit worrying to me, to be honest, but I'll just pretend I didn't see that. Okay. Radio. No signal. Run up here. What the client? So the server should, yeah, have triggered. Okay. Pending signals on the server is 1. Okay. Oh, that's why. Sorry. I see the problem again. It's kind of multiplayer. It goes. You just kind of like Was that red explosion in the sky? Oh, these? These are the giant HFE devices, the high frequency emitters that are basically containing the Mothman to the island. They probably won't glow like that all the time. I was just working on the effect the other day. So you can see, I'll quickly show you. There's a mini version that'll be around the map here that the players can use, but those big ones are basically, yeah, the military controlling. Let me show you this. If I turn on this, and this again. So the mini ones are these little things. Um, so for a battery, you need batteries to activate them. And now that creates this like field. And if he happens to fly in here, which hopefully he does, that'll essentially stun him. So that's how you can basically trap him in this hunt. Yeah, it screams. I don't think he stops getting stunned right now. I think I turned that off for testing. Yeah, I mean, because he's like created as a weapon, they basically put. Oh, that's I forgot about that. There's a whole bunch of biotech inside him and his wings that you're essentially just overloading and frying him. So it's not it's not very nice to him, but yeah. Anyway, that's all that kind of stuff. So spring lock. That's these things are giant versions of that. Essentially, that create the military created to make a field where he can't leave this island. And the whole hunt, he is basically going to be trying to convince you to turn those off for him, so he can leave. But yeah. Anyway, where was done? No, where's the over here? Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Now, did I? I don't think I fixed the radio, did I? Or oh, I found the problem though. It was in the receiver because the this function is only running on the server. Oh no, that should be fine then. Has pending signal. Oh yeah, it's trying to read this array on the client, and the client doesn't have that array. Um, so I mean, the easiest thing is just to replicate it, which is probably I could probably do that in a cheaper way, but um, yeah, I did. I was thinking that, Jenny, but and I had a test version of that, but it actually, I don't know. I'll have to put some more work into it. It looked really derpy when I tried it. I basically had him like get like frozen and like fall out of the sky, but I don't know. I just don't think it looked. I do like the thought though. Like I probably will try to do it again, rather than getting frozen in the air. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be tricky to make that look not like because he's a horror like I want him to be scary, you know. It's like it's tricky to make him be weak, like show his weakness in a way that's still scary, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, we'll try that. But yeah, I definitely like that idea too. All right. Okay. I don't know. It's really stressing me out that we're not saving the radio for some reason, but let's just worry about that later. Where is it? Radio. Okay. So I've got the radio. This is the client. He's going to enter the volume and hopefully get the signal. Now. What? What is happening? How many mistakes am I going to make before this works? Did the map not save? How's that? It's got the signal, okay. Pass through the signal. Okay. So what were those errors then? It's probably trying to tell me and I've just been completely ignoring the log. Message log. Signal receiver was not passed through. Signal receiver is nothing, right? Oh, right. Of course. Okay, so now it's actually, yeah, game state. Cast to moth. We actually don't even need to cast it, we can just do it like that. It's because I moved it from the player to the game state. All the systems, all the places I was expecting it to be on the player, the systems are all getting confused now because I moved it and forgot to update them. But I think maybe I've got all of them covered now. Once I walk into the range, my radio and the client should go blue. Yep, okay, so I've got a signal incoming, and if I click, nothing happens because that's happening on the client, I assume, which is where the pass-through needs to happen. If I look at radio equipment, will the contract hunts likely not have him communicate in the base, by the way? Yeah, probably. And honestly, I'm not sure for 1.0 if I'm going to have time to do a contract hunt for this or not. That might have to be after release. We'll see. Hopefully I do, but yeah. So the client, when he clicks, does get this. He does have this. But then we come through here and we immediately do a server check. I hate that I have to do this. Like, I feel like there should be a better way. Reaction pressed. Yeah. But for now, what I'm going to do is go to the player controller and make it here. Server, try, activate, signal. Yep. Source actor. There, and then get game state, and then we do get signal, get component, signal, receiver, and then try activate. Really, this should be a component, because the reason I don't love this is because this is Mothman code now in the player controller for all hunts. I prefer to keep it kind of separate if I can, but yep, player controller. First FL player controller, and then server, try activate signal with the owning player as the source actor. Whew. Multiplayer, am I right? Networking, holy. Okay, and that should now work, I think. So that I can left click as a client and have it trigger on the server. Let me head out. Alright, nice to see you, John. Good luck making the radio work. Yeah, I think I need it. But we might have it this time, but I've said that literally every time so far, so we'll see. Alright. Radio. Got the stairs. There we go, we're in range, and if I click, there we go. Yeah, okay, cool. So that works, but the audio was not 3D, I think. Audio signal receiver, try activate, activate, blah blah blah, activate, whatever. And then here is where the sound is actually played. Bit of attenuation on there, I guess. One more time. Am I in the right place? Ish, yep. Give the radio to this guy. Oh, we have the signal already. Yeah. So now it's coming from that player. If I don't have the radio, I can hear it coming from the player that does have the radio. So that's kind of cool. The only thing I guess I will do now is... No, I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's cool. That works. So now I can go ahead and place these signals around the map that once... Well, even before you have the radio, you can actually pick up the signals. But yeah, cool. Good. This is good. This is good. This is good. So I'm going to bust out my notebook real quick and write down some of the messages I don't have that I do want. And feel free, if you guys want to try and write some of these, feel free. But I need one that's like, I'll just call it radio pickup. Right as this is his first communication to you, so he's like, you've just picked the radio up and he's immediately going to start trying to talk to you now that he can. So I don't know what it would be. It'd be something like, like I've been watching you, communications are now open, follow my lead or something like that, so something like along those lines, because before this point the player doesn't know that he can actually communicate to them. But yeah, so that's cool. So I need to put in those radio signals. Okay. And I want him to be able to basically mess with stuff in the environment. I guess I don't want to get stuck in the weeds for that right now, but I want him to be able to do stuff like flicker these lights at you and that kind of thing. I also want to put a camera in here, even though it's kind of weird to have one like this. because this will let the player know that he's actually watching them. So I should fix the animation blueprints on these. That one's working, is it? Oh, I need to watch that. God's sake. Okay, what is the watch zone called? Is it just this? Just a trigger volume, okay. Where are we at? Trigger volumes, I don't know, something like that. Now this will point at this zone, so anyone in that zone is what the camera will try and face. I think 90. There we go. That's it. Very good. So I want to add a small point light right on the end of something like this. Yeah. It'd be like 200 maybe, really small attenuation. And red, and no shadows, and the flicker. Sweet. Oh, we got some suggestions. I've been watching you, newcomer. There are secrets on this derelict island, secrets that shall be unveiled to you soon. Watch for the skies have eyes, my eyes. I see you wandering in the dark, the signal is clear, you can hear me, I can reach you. Do not be afraid, communication is now open. Wow, both of those are really good. Oh yeah, that's a good idea too, Jenny. Shooting out the cameras. Shoot out cameras. Nice. Yeah, both of those are really good. I'm gonna put those. Let's see. Let's copy paste that. Okay, open Notepad without showing something I'm not supposed to show. Yeah, no, that's good. Cool. Thanks, guys. That's awesome. Real good, good writing there. Okay. What else? I think that's all I wanted to do in this stream. It was get the radio working and show you guys the updates. I'm gonna do some work on the actual AI part of this before the next stream, because I need to kind of design that as I'm doing it. So it's not. I'm probably not going to stream the actual process of that, but I'll show you kind of what I come up with. Essentially, what it's going to be is there's going to be the AI is going to be split into multiple phases in this map, or multiple like tiers. So probably like 3 tiers. So before you access the second part of the island, let me make it day so we can actually see. I'll kind of roughly explain what my plan is, and then we'll see how we go. Before you access the second part of the island, it's going to be in tier 1, or like the first level. Then the second level is going to be basically before you reach the biolab, the research facility, and then the third one is in that. So that's basically his aggression level and the abilities and effects he has access to. So in the first level, he will only be able to appear at a distance, watching you either in his like actual Mothman form, or in the I think, is it this in this light, or like it's like a light or something. Yeah, or in his light form, which if you've seen the or read much into the Mothman lore, he can also usually appear as a light like this that will kind of lead you around and follow you and stuff like that. So that's going to be the first part of this AI, is the light and him just being at a distance watching you, maybe like sat on top of some of these radio towers and basically just talking to you. Then once you do cross the bridge, then he is probably not going to use that light form. He's going to actually be actively flying around. Let me make it day again so I can't freaking see. He'll be actively flying around during the night. During the day, I'm not sure what he's going to do yet. I'll have to figure that out. And will actually attack you if you annoy him or get close or shoot at him, or basically do anything to set him off. And that will probably have some of the jump scares and bits and pieces like that, and you'll have access to these HFEs. Then the third one is, I'm still figuring that out, but the third level is where he is basically desperately trying to manipulate you to shut off the HFE fields so he can leave the island. So that's going to be probably more of a handcrafted AI of like, based on decisions you make and actions you take, he will actually have different kind of pre-planned like behaviors to either work with you or against you, depending whether you're trying to help him or not, or whether he thinks you're trying to help him or not. But yeah, and then I haven't decided yet whether you're going to be able to actually just shoot him to death immediately or not. I'm thinking no, but maybe in the third tier he will. So yeah, that's kind of my plan and what I'm going to be working on between this stream and next, and I'll let you know how we go. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Really cool to see some new faces. Thanks for the writing, and yeah, I'll be in touch in Discord.